Language development is one of the most intricate and critical components of cognitive and psychosocial growth in children and adolescents. It encompasses not only spoken and written language, but also nonverbal cues, social communication rules, cultural nuances, and emotional expression. Language is not just a tool for communication, it is also a vehicle for thought, identity formation, academic success, and social integration. This module explores the biological, cognitive, social, and environmental influences that contribute to the development of language from infancy through adolescence. It also examines the major theories of language acquisition, stages of development, red flags for disorders, and the profound educational implications for instruction, assessment, and classroom interaction. Educators must understand how language functions, evolves, and interacts with learning, culture, and behavior in order to effectively support learners of diverse backgrounds and abilities. A command of language development theory and practice equips teachers to recognize delays, adapt curriculum, and enhance classroom communication. 4.1 Theoretical Foundations of Language Development. First, nativist theory, Noam Chomsky, proposes that children are born with an innate biological ability to acquire language, a language acquisition device, LAD, emphasizes universal grammar. Language is hardwired, not just learned through imitation. 2. Learning theory, B.F. Skinner. Language is learned through imitation, reinforcement, and conditioning. Emphasizes environmental input and observable behavior. Third, interactionist social pragmatic theory, Lev Vygotsky, Bruner. Language development is the product of social interaction, cognitive readiness, and environmental support. Importance of scaffolding, dialogue, and joint attention. 4. Cognitive theory, Jean Piaget. Language is part of cognitive development. Children must first understand concepts before they can use words to describe them. 4.3 Components of language phonology, sound systems and pronunciation. Morphology, word structure and affixes. Syntax, grammar and sentence formation. Semantics, meaning of words and expressions. Pragmatics, social rules, turn-taking, and contextual use. Understanding these components helps educators break down language learning and assess where a child may struggle, e.g., grammar versus vocabulary versus social use. 4.4 Influences on language development. Biological influences. Brain development, e.g., Broca's and Wernicke's areas. Hearing ability. Genetic predispositions. Cognitive influences. Memory capacity. Symbolic representation. Abstract reasoning. Social and cultural influences. Parental interaction. Socioeconomic status. Cultural language practices, e.g., child-directed speech. Bilingualism and code switching. Educational influences. Exposure to rich vocabulary. Access to books and media. Teacher language use and questioning classroom discourse patterns. 4.5 Language and communication disorders. Speech disorders. Articulation issues. Stuttering voice disorders. Language disorders. Delayed speech. Expressive receptive language impairments, specific language impairment, SLI, pragmatic language disorder, autism spectrum disorder, ASD, often involves challenges with pragmatics, intonation, and nonverbal cues. Second language learners, ELL, ESL, need time for BICS, basic interpersonal communication skills, and CALP, cognitive academic language proficiency, may appear delayed but are often developing dual systems. 4.6 Educational implications and classroom strategies. Use of rich oral language. Teachers must model grammatically correct and contextually rich language. Dialogic teaching encourages you to explore ideas through conversation and questioning. Visual supports, charts, illustrations, and graphic organizers scaffold language for all learners. Encouraging narrative skills. Storytelling and personal recounting improve sequencing, vocabulary, and coherence. Explicit vocabulary instruction. Teach both Tier 1, basic, and Tier 2, academic words directly. Culturally responsive communication. Validate your home languages, dialects, and communication styles. Support for bilingual learners. Recognize that bilingualism enhances cognitive flexibility. Avoid viewing it as a deficit. Early intervention. Teachers must flag significant language delays and refer you to speech-language professionals. 4.7 Language and identity formation. Language is tied to self-concept, social belonging, and academic identity. Adolescents especially use language to assert peer group membership, individuality, and emotional nuance. Educators must respect and leverage your voice and avoid linguistic prejudice, e.g., devaluing accents or dialects. Summary: language development is not merely about mastering grammar or expanding vocabulary. It is a multi-layered, socially embedded, culturally shaped, and cognitively driven process that must be intentionally nurtured in educational settings. Understanding how children and adolescents acquire, use, and struggle with language gives educators the tools to become linguistic facilitators, not just content transmitters. I look forward to congratulating you upon the completion of this course.